There's no racial equality in this country anymore. In fact, white people have less racial equality than anybody else. I'm a civil rights lawyer, so I don't mean that in a provocative way, but we can see it. Affirmative action on the rise again, special favors, special perks. I want my piece of the pie. I want reparations. I want this. I want that. Everything except actually working is what Black people want these days. Not most Black people, I might add, but the radical left. And yesterday, they got a goodie, another one. Any kind of agricultural loan that was taken out by Black people in the South will now be forgiven at the rate of 120% in that $1.9 million budget-busting monstrosity that passed Congress under Biden and Harris. This is just the beginning. Everything's going to be given away. Everything's going to be divvied up. And it's not just to African Americans. It's to every conceivable group, every conceivable minority. Of course, Jews won't be in there because they just simply don't qualify. But these are the sign of the times. And either we have equality in this country or we don't. I remember working with Andrew Breitbart. In fact, I was with him the morning of the day he died mysteriously that night, walking home from a bar in Brentwood, California, where he just keeled over. Frankly, I think he was poisoned, but even Breitbart never wanted to investigate it. I think they were scared. A coroner died mysteriously within 2 weeks. We were working on a case called Pigford, and that was bad enough. A case that had been promoted by Barack Obama when he was a senator in Illinois, and then rubber stamped by a leftist judge, Paul Friedman, of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, where if an African American can remember being given a loan in the South without any documentation, that they qualified for $80,000 off the top. And if you could remember the actual amount, you would get payment for that. Well, you know what? If African Americans want equal rights, then they have to agree that other people should be treated with equal rights as well. And that goes for every single group. But that's no longer true in this country. We're now living in a socialist, communist gulag. We're now living under slavery, in effect. It's been reversed. White people are at the back of the bus. Everybody should be at the front of the bus. No special favors for anybody. Look at Asian Americans who don't ask for anything. They mind their own business. They work hard. They get into great universities, they excel, they make money, and they don't ask for anything. No affirmative action. And that's the way it should be. And people certainly can get a push. You know, if I interview an African American and he's as good as anybody else, I'll hire him. But where we are today in this country, everything is turned upside down, and it's just the beginning. And as a Jewish Christian, maybe I should be asking for reparations because my people built the pyramids. And of course, many other things. You know, we were instrumental in the Revolutionary War. We were instrumental in a lot of different things. We created, thanks to hard work and advocacy, whatever, the state of Israel, which is both for Christians and Jews. So maybe I should have my piece of the pie too. Well, I'm speaking out, I'm speaking clearly, because the country, frankly, is in a nosedive. Next, quite apart from forgiving 120% of agricultural loans, will be you turn over your house, you turn over your car, you turn over all your possessions, we cash it out, and we divide it up among everybody. You know, there used to be a bumper sticker that I used to see in Washington, D.C. This is many years ago when I was a young lawyer. It foretold where we were going, and it said, vote Democrat, easier than working. Well, that's true. And now, these days, people don't want to work for what they get, by and large. They just want to get it. And when that happens, the country truly is in a state of communism. So that's my message for today. Go out and read my book, It Takes a Revolution, Forget the Scandal Industry. Read the Declaration of Independence. We have a government that does not serve the people. It's broken away from the people. The Republican Party is dead, can't stand up to the Democrats, never could. What have they done in the last decades? Nothing. Zero. It's been a march to socialism, communism, and atheism. And that's where we are today. And it's been a march to favoring people, frankly, don't feel like working very much. So that's my message. You take it to heart, read my book, We need to wage a peaceful and legal revolution before it is ultimately too late. The country is already dead. We need to resurrect it. We need to rise up with citizens' grand juries. We need to form a new government by and for the people. And we need to move on, because the way things are today, we have no country at all. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, God save you and your family. And you're going to need God, and you're going to need his son, because frankly, without divine providence, we have no hope. But we have to rely on you. So turn off Sean Hannity, turn off Fox News, get to work. Don't be addicted by just watching what other people do. You need to rise up. Join Freedom Watch's Justice League. Join our Citizens Army and help us take this country back. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, thank you for listening to me.